Nobody explains ammeters and voltmeters this simply.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're cracking the code on two of the absolute most essential instruments in all of physics, ammeters and voltmeters. You can think of them as the ultimate circuit gatekeepers. They monitor, they measure, and they basically translate the invisible world of electricity into data we can actually use. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Mixing these two up isn't just some minor typo on your homework. In the real world, confusing an ammeter for a voltmeter can trigger disastrous short circuits, totally fry your equipment, and yeah, absolutely tank your exam scores. So we're gonna lock down exactly how they work, why they work, and how you can make sure you never, ever confuse them again. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by meeting our gatekeepers, do a direct comparison, explore a really helpful water pipe analogy, go over how to draw circuit symbols correctly, learn the ASL memory hack, and finally, learn how to avoid those common exam pitfalls. Let's jump right in. All right, part one, meet the circuit gatekeepers, where we look at how we measure electricity. To really understand these tools, we first have to define exactly what it is we're trying to measure, right? And that brings us to electric current, which is represented by the capital letter I. At its core, this is simply the flow of charge through a conductor. Basically, if you've got electrons zipping through a wire, boom, you have a current. And tracking that flow is precisely what our first gatekeeper, the ammeter, is built to do. It's designed to count how much of that charge is flowing past a specific point. But here's the thing. To do that accurately, it has to follow a very strict set of rules, especially when we compare it to its partner, the voltmeter. Moving on to part two, direct comparison, the rules. Notice the rhythmic opposites between these two devices. They're basically mirror images of each other. The ammeter measures current. It connects in series, and it requires low resistance. The voltmeter, on the other hand, measures voltage or potential difference. It connects in parallel, and it requires high resistance. They are complete opposites in literally every functional way. If one requires low resistance, the other demands high. If one is in line, the other is parallel. Go ahead and take a mental screenshot of this table right now. Seriously, lock it in. This is your ultimate cheat sheet. It perfectly summarizes those exact opposites we just talked about: current versus voltage, series versus parallel, and low versus high resistance. And understanding this, well, it doesn't just help you memorize facts for a test. It actually reveals the underlying physics of how electricity behaves in a circuit. But let's take this out of the abstract textbook realm and make it physical. Part 3, the water pipe analogy. Let's visualize this circuit. I absolutely love this concept because it makes things so clear. Think of electrical current just like water rushing through a pipe. Now, if you want to measure all the water flowing through that pipe, you can't just slap a meter on the outside, right? No way. You absolutely have to place your meter directly inside the pipe. The water actually has to flow through your measuring device. And that is exactly what a series connection is in an electrical circuit. The ammeter has to sit directly in the path of the current, so the full flow of electricity passes right through it. And this brilliantly illustrates our next rule. You have to ensure it doesn't clog the pipe. Think about it. If you stick a giant restrictive meter inside a water pipe, what happens? Well, the water slows down, the pressure drops. You fundamentally change the flow just by trying to measure it. In physics, that clog is called electrical resistance. This is exactly why an ammeter must have incredibly low internal resistance. A high resistance would act just like a clog, slowing down the very current it's trying to measure, which gives you a totally inaccurate reading. By keeping resistance super low, the ammeter makes sure it gives a reading that matches the circuit's natural, unaltered current. Okay, part 4, circuit symbols, drawing them right. Listen up, because this is where so many students end up throwing away easy points on exams. When you're sketching an ammeter, which is just a circle with a capital A inside, it must be drawn directly on the main wire line. It sits right in the path, just like that water meter inside the pipe. Never ever draw an ammeter on a separate branch. The voltmeter, though, the circle with a capital V, is the exact opposite. It has to be connected across a component on a completely separate branch. It sits in parallel, just kind of observing the difference in electrical potential from the outside without jumping into the main flow. So always double check your drawings against this rule. Section 5, the ASL memory hack, your foolproof study tool. So you might be wondering, how do you actually remember all this when you're staring down a blank exam paper? The pressure is on, the clock is ticking, and suddenly you're second-guessing whether the ammeter needs high or low resistance. What do you do? Well, I'm going to give you a simple 3-letter toolkit that will absolutely save you in a high-pressure situation like that. Here it is, ASL. Just remember those 3 letters. A stands for ammeter, the instrument itself that measures current. S stands for series, reminding you that it has to be placed directly in the path of the flow, and L stands for low resistance, ensuring you remember it prevents clogging of the circuit. ASL, ammeter, series, low resistance. If you can memorize that tiny little acronym, you instantly know all the rules for an ammeter. And here's the best part. Because a voltmeter is the exact opposite, knowing ASL means you automatically know the voltmeter rules too. You'll literally never confuse the two again. Finally, Section 6, avoiding exam pitfalls. Let's make sure you don't lose points. Honestly, this is a total minefield, and it's the most dangerous mistake you can make. Because the ammeter's resistance is so incredibly low, if you accidentally place it in parallel, it gives electricity an easy path to basically bypass everything else in the circuit. This causes a massive, sudden surge of current, creating a catastrophic short circuit. Unless your goal is to melt your wires and permanently destroy your battery, don't do it. Conversely, if you connect a voltmeter in series, its massive internal resistance acts like a literal brick wall in your water pipe. It will likely stop current from flowing entirely. Getting these placements wrong isn't just some minor technicality, it physically breaks the circuit. So here is the absolute crucial takeaway, especially regarding the specific phrasing you need to use. When your exam, like the CSEC physics exam for instance, asks you why an ammeter needs low resistance, do not just write, "so it doesn't clog the pipe." I know, that's our awesome mental model, but you need the rigorous physics terminology to get full marks. You must use this exact phrase to avoid significantly affecting the total resistance and current. Memorize that phrase. It proves to the grader that you truly understand the mathematical relationship between resistance and current in the entire system. I want to leave you all with this final thought. Electricity is this incredible, predictable flow that is governed by very strict rules. If mastering these two gatekeepers, understanding exactly how to measure voltage and current without breaking the system prevents circuit disasters, could this actually be the ultimate key to unlocking all of electricity and magnetism? Absolutely. A rock-solid foundation in these basic tools makes the rest of advanced physics feel incredibly intuitive. Because once you know how to watch the flow, you can learn how to control the flow. So keep studying that ASL hack, keep sketching those circuit diagrams, and you are going to be completely prepared for whatever physics throws your way. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep that curiosity flowing.
As always, the link for this study tool is in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments.